Hey folks, so KcoKt has deleted all of the videos on her channel, and I've got a request asking for a video talking about that topic. And when they asked for that, I realized, yeah, I kind of do have a lot to say about that. In some sense, at first glance, it seems like I don't really have a whole lot to do with this. Like, this might not, like, I wouldn't, this wouldn't really apply to me as much, but because I'm not really part of the same thing, the same sort of paper game movement that KcoKt was part of. But I realized that I am really sort of affected by this. So I first encountered the paper game community back in 2013 because back then I didn't have this YouTube channel yet, but there were paper computer games. I just had it as a wiki. And at that time, someone from the paper game community, not KcoKt, someone else, found my wiki, and they made an article on it. They called that article Other Paper Games. I'll link to that article in the description below. It's just sort of, and, you know, it links to, here's a wiki about paper games, about the paper games community. And so that was interesting. I was like, this whole other community that's totally separate from us that just sprung up just by chance. And so I followed that link. I went to the wiki, I started learning about it, and I discovered some of the videos of the paper game community. And, you know, once again, I wasn't really part of this movement. I wasn't inspired to start making these games by IPGS or anything like that. But it was interesting to see how this whole other community had developed, and I was looking to see if I could learn anything from that for myself. Probably the biggest lesson I should have learned early on was start a YouTube channel, and for some reason I didn't get that then. I wasn't thinking so great about it at that time. It took me a while to figure it out, but one really interesting lesson I did learn is when I discovered KcoKt, because she was sort of like a disciple of IPGS in a way. She would sort of, she would make her own paper games, so she was sort of doing the same thing he always did. She always included sort of references to his games, or references to him. And like in her games, there would just be like a TV screen that says IPGS in the corner, something like that. And so she's, would always say like, oh, this is where it all began. Like she was paying homage to the beginning of this movement that she was a part of. So she was sort of connecting the original paper game stuff to the newer generation of paper gamers, because she wouldn't just make her own games. She also sort of took on a role of encouraging everyone else to make their games as well. She would go around to videos and, she would she would find all the good paper game videos out there. She would praise them and tell them to make more. And if somebody wasn't making paper game videos for a while, she would comment on them and she would say like, I formally invite you back to the paper game community. And so for her to take on this role of keeping that community going, keeping people invested in it, keeping people having fun with it, like created this really fun space. And I was sort of an outsider to that. I was never part of this community, but just seeing it as an outsider, that was really something that I thought was really cool. I admired that. And, when I first was starting this channel, I didn't really have a direction. I didn't know where to go or how to do this, but that kind of gave me an idea of how to be, of how to do this. That this is not just about me. It's not me trying to promote myself or my games. I mean, that's part of it. I do like making my games. I do like showing my games to you guys, but it's also all about the community. It's all about encouraging other people's creativity and incorporating it into your own and having them incorporate stuff you thought of into their stuff. That is something that KcoKt did that I think was really cool, and that made this whole thing a really fun space to be in. and that made me want to create my own space. Even though I wasn't directly part of the community she was in, I thought it was awesome, and I was sad to see it start to die out, and I was sad that when she stopped making videos. And, you know, like, in one of her later videos, she did say that, you know, basically she was growing up. Like, when she was first making these videos, she was sort of like a kid, a teenager, and now she, you know, at least as of the last time she made a video, she was going to college, and, you know, there's not a whole lot of time for paper games, and, so I guess she was sort of growing out of it a little bit. She was getting more into other interests, you know, totally understandable. So, and I mean, you know, beyond that, it is sort of an identity crisis. I totally get that, because when you get to be a certain age, you know, maybe a part of your brain still likes doing this sort of thing that you did when you were younger, but then you're like, am I too old to be doing this? You know, there's this sort of weird, like, who am I? I don't even know who I am anymore. Am I that same kid that still did those things? Or am I becoming something different? Should I totally let that stuff go? Should I keep it going somehow? And it seems kind of pointless since everyone else is getting out of it. I don't know. Those are complicated questions. You know, when she made that video, I commented and I said, hey, you know, like, there are really good things that come out of continuing to make these games when you're older. Because, I mean, that's been my experience. Like, when you're older, you can do so much more with them. You can go so much further than you were capable of as a kid, because you couldn't think of, I mean, you can, like, you still like those same ideas, but now you also have all this extra knowledge. You have all this extra, you've been exposed to so many more things that it's like, ooh, there's so many more ideas that I can incorporate into these paper computer games. And that's been my experience, and that's what I said to her on her video, where she said that, you know, she's sort of moving into other interests, and she seemed to appreciate that. But, you know, I guess she didn't get back into it. And the thing is, you know, it might just not be as interesting to her as it used to be, and that is totally valid. You know, everyone, you know, has their own things. They grow out of things, they grow into things, you know. So I'm just saying, you know, it's sad to see her go, and it's sad to see her videos go, because even if she wasn't gonna be around, you know, her videos can still inspire other people. There is also this whole issue of COPPA coming around, so I don't know if that was part of the reason. I hope not. I hope that she didn't delete her videos because she was afraid that she's gonna face a hefty penalty, you know, by the FTC for having videos that are directed to kids. I don't know, and if so, that would be really sad. And the whole COPPA thing, that's a whole separate issue. I'm going to talk about that in another video. I'm working on that now. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that, is that, you know, even though I was never part of that same community, I was still got some kind of inspiration out of that, and that helped me build this channel, and, you know, I appreciate that. So, here's to KcoKt, long live KcoKt, and thanks for all the good times. And that's all I have to say about that. Hopefully, I mean, if she ever decides to come back, if she ever decides, you know, like, or maybe she didn't even delete her videos, maybe she just made them private, I don't know. If so, awesome, that'd be great. I'm not expecting that to happen, because, you know, probably not, but yeah. And the other thing is, I have seen a lot of other people come and go from this community in the same way, and it's really sad to see someone delete their videos, especially some of the people who I've seen on my channel, or, you know, some of the people who've gotten into paper computer games, and who've even used some of our characters in their videos. We've seen them sort of drop off the map, and that's been really sad too, because, you know, you see a new person getting into it, you're like, ooh, it's exciting, you know, like, and, like, I would really like there to be another KcoKt, like, maybe a KcoKt of paper computer games. I guess in a sense that's me, but I would like to see someone who isn't me, like, sort of get into paper computer games as much as I am, and as much as KcoKt was for IPGS and for paper games. Like, that is sort of my goal. Like, if I can create another KcoKt, but for paper computer games, who isn't me, this channel is a success. That is my metric. And we haven't totally gotten there yet, but there's a lot of cool people who are starting to get into paper computer games a little bit, and I'm super appreciative of all you guys who have made your own PCGs or who have used our PCG characters like Zuvac or TutorialBot or any of that. That is super cool, and that keeps me going, making this channel. So thank you guys for everything, and thank you KT for everything you've done for everyone, and thanks for watching, folks.